What's up everybody, Chris from Crosshammer Films, and on today's video we'll be talking about the term low light, who's it for, and what does it actually refer to. For starters, the term on YouTube refers to low light settings on a camera. But why are low light settings so important to content creators and filmmakers today? In my experience, I myself had thought up until recently that low light is a must on any new cameras coming out. I'm going to break down this whole idea of why we shouldn't focus on low light settings as much as we think we should. Content creators are the ones that look specifically at low light more so than filmmakers. The reason being, content creators film videos in various environments with little equipment. Unless the content creator is filming in their own studio space or their own house with adequate lighting setup, they're not going to have a controlled environment wherever they go. A lot of times they go outdoors and film with no lights, or sometimes they're shooting or covering events, like event shooters, and the venues don't have a ton of lighting. So for these use cases, I understand completely why low light is a priority. However, the main question you should ask yourself if you're a content creator is how often am I shooting in dimly lit places? Because if you're a YouTuber, let's say, that makes the majority of their content in your own home or studio, then you shouldn't even really care about the low light capabilities in a camera at all. But if you film a ton of event content or you film a lot on the fly, then for sure maybe low light will be a priority for you. Filmmakers are a different story. We're more intentional with our setups and like to mostly work in controlled environments. More specifically, we take complete control of the look of whatever project we shoot. If it's a short film that seems to be a low light setup, it's done intentionally, and if you've ever seen behind the scenes footage of a dimly lit scene in any film, it's got bright lights everywhere. And this is because either in camera or in combination with post-production, we have full control to make it look as if it really is dimly lit. So because of the controlled environment aspect, we don't need to focus so much on the low light capabilities of a camera. To conclude, I say if you're a filmmaker who works on narrative productions, you shouldn't really worry so much about a camera's low light capabilities or the best low light settings for your camera. This is more for content creators, and more specifically, those that shoot in various environments. For me personally, I chose to shoot on the Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro. The image quality is fantastic on this camera. Now, is this a low light beast? No, not at all. You need a ton of lights for this camera. But a quick note for those starting out and that may not have a ton of lights on hand, don't be discouraged and don't be afraid to experiment with techniques and your camera settings to get as close as possible to your desired effect. One anecdotal example I can give you is while I was on the set for a short thriller film I DP'd called Ghost of Maryland. At the time I did not have a ton of high quality lights or really as much light as I would have liked to have. But in this one reveal shot we had one LED panel and a very small wand light to light our actor at night with another LED panel in the distance simulating moonlight. And as I said earlier, this camera is not a low light beast by any means. I cranked the ISO all the way up to 12,800, which is insane, but this is what we got. To this day, I can't replicate the same effect, but I say this to give encouragement. Don't be afraid to experiment because you never know what might work. So go out there and try some new things. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please comment, rate, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.